As always, Ted, kick us off. Who do you have as your winner of the week?
Well, first of all, can I say this as I was thinking about it when we were doing the ads? It would be like a Wayne's World if they carried our show on Griffin, right? Late
I,
night, Channel 52.
why
It's
not?
like we just need a basement somewhere. That's all we need to do.
That's all
A
we need.
basement stage.
I
That's pretty
Now
funny.
I have ideas. My number one idea, in all seriousness, now that Griffin's in the picture, is we should have a show, and maybe we would do it in Norman, maybe we would do it in Oklahoma City. We should have a show where we take the 3 to 5 best plays of a football game and like break them down and explain them
Yeah.
to people. And we've done that a little bit on YouTube and we're going to continue to do that. But basically, we would take what we're doing with our in the weeds stuff and put it on television. People would love that.
We'll do it live.
We'll
We'll
do it
do it live.
live. All right. Who do you have as your winner of the week?
I had to go with Ohtani. Um, I the guy is to me just the most fascinating person to watch. He It was funny we were watching it live at the house, and I think it was Aaron Judge they were talking to out in the field, and they're like, "How about this guy? Isn't he pretty good?" And Aaron Judge like, "Yeah, he's incredible." Next pitch, just gone, just absolutely nukes one to right center. The guy's just incredible. And the swing looks totally different than anyone else, which I think is another thing that makes it kind of cool and unique. He's just such a talent to watch. I love watching the dude play baseball.
He for just a moment, as I marveled as that nuke he hit went over the fence, he made me forget about those jerseys for just a moment. That's how good he is. That's how far he hit it. I forgot about the atrocity that was draping all of those men last night. What
It's
the hell was that?
it's so funny that you say that because I think on that specific at bat, I was looking at the pitcher because they were showing the pitcher, before pitch, he's like doing his thing with the glove and everything. And I was like, what are they wearing out there? That is the strangest thing I've ever seen in my life. It's like I get it. I, we don't dress up like we used to. Everything is like comfort driven and relaxed. But I think t-shirts on baseball players is like, I think it's too far.
I was talking about the colors. What were the colors? I I I triple checked. I was like, wait, I thought they were playing it at Globe Life. I didn't know they were playing it in Miami. That's so weird. That color scheme for the All-Star game in Dallas, someone explain that to me.
Was that like a was that a Sam? It was almost like this, wasn't it? Like the lining on the
It was like neon. There's
yeah,
some
it was
neon going on. I was perplexed by the jerseys. Perplexed.
yeah. I don't know the right way to do it, but I feel like that's not it. And that's the conversation that everyone had like at the very beginning of the season about how much the players hated all the jerseys. I'm guessing that's just a continuation of that.
I did think, having the home run derby on Monday night and then the All-Star game on Tuesday night, smart move.
Yeah.
Not having it on the weekend. It had been a while since I'd watched a home run derby and an all-star game, but it was one of those things you're scrolling, you're like, oh, it's on. Now I was dialing into the home run derby because of Bobby Witt Jr., former OU commit,
That's right.
Bobby Witt Jr. So close to winning. Wow. But I thought that having it Monday, Tuesday like they did it, I thought that was it had me watching when normally I probably wouldn't have.
Yeah, it was well done. It was good, but yeah, Ohtani, he's the winner. I even whenever he's, had the Tommy John, just kind of DHing, no big deal. He's hit like, I don't know, 27, 28 home runs already this year, on pace to hit over 50. Just an incredible player.
Ridiculous. Who do you have as your loser of the week?
Well, I'm going back to that home run derby that you mentioned. And I know there's been a lot of talk about this, but the anthem beforehand, and I know the singer came out and said that she was drunk and she's going to go to rehab. Am I a bad person for saying that I don't buy it? I
Wow.
My
Okay.
wife
You have my
planted the
attention.
seed.
You
My
have my
wife planted
attention.
the seed. I think it was for like no who I can't remember who I heard talk about this. It was a country music singer. Um I think McAfee asked him about it. And he's like, I've turned down every opportunity that I've ever had to sing the national anthem
I
because
saw it. It was Parker McCollum.
yes, that's right. He said, if you nail it, you get a pat on the back. Good job. And it's not an easy song to sing. It's not. Especially, sometimes it's just you got no backing, nothing. It's just it's not easy. But there's like a high likelihood of a screw up and you're going to be like viral forever. So he's always opted out. I A bad performance, like I don't think and maybe there's she has fans out there. I'm not even sure. It's is Ingrid Andress. How many people searched who she is and listened to her music to try and figure out what the hell happened?
You're going conspiracy theory Ted on us.
Well, I
It
just you
I
cannot be a
am
professional singer and sing that bad. You just cannot.
yeah, especially this is the thing is normally if you're drunk, you kind of let it go.
Belt it. Yeah. Just we're just gonna belt this thing.
So maybe there are more substances at play here. Now,
No, I didn't think of
I
that. That's a good idea.
I am I am not going to question someone and their intentions when they say, "Hey, I'm checking myself into rehab." That's kind of a
Mm-hmm.
slippery slope, Ted. However, I've actually heard her music before, and yeah, it was whoa. It was
Yeah.
really, really bad. This is you just mentioned something. The way that you laid it out, like what Parker McCollum said about singing the anthem, I'm going to give you a comparison here. Singing the national anthem was like OU playing Kansas in football.
Yes. That's it.
You
It's like every
win.
Big 12 game we've ever had.
Yeah, you win. It's like, yeah, hey, nice job. That's how it should be. It doesn't go well. Catastrophic.
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 On your resume forever.
Yeah. I feel like that's the national anthem.
That's it. That's it. No one ever comes up to you afterwards like, what a show. That was amazing. No, it's the national anthem. Uh, you know, Maybe it's your duty as a singer to do it every now and then somewhere. I don't know, but again, not it's not easy. Dead quiet in there, no atmosphere. But that was brutal. Me and my son were actually playing the new college football game, and it was on kind of in the other room. And I was like, I was like, what is happening in there? What is this? My wife was like, she has to be joking. I was like, not a good time to joke with that.
You do not joke with the Star Spangled Banner. That is one you do not joke with. I it's tough, man, because if she's actually and you got to just assume she's actually going through some stuff with the post she put out there. It kind of it's kind of unfortunate because we can't make fun of her as much as we were going to.
Okay, well, I'll make fun of whoever was there with her. You have to grab your girl before she goes out there and just tell someone, listen, jet lag, whatever it
She's
is,
sick.
sick, had a bad hot dog, something, and they'll just hit play on their standard national anthem. Okay. You can't let your client or your friend or your whoever she is to you walk out there and do that. You got to
Fair,
have better people around you.
fair. Now,
Hey, if
hope she
I
gets
ever
the help she
show up,
needs. Hope she gets the help she needs, and she's
yes,
back and gets to redeem herself at some point. You have to do that, right? If you're her, you got to
yes,
go. You got to go get clean, and then the first opportunity you get, you got to get back out there, stare that beast that is the Star Spangled Banner straight in the face, and you got to go belt that thing and redeem yourself, right? I mean, that's what you have to do if you're her.
you've got three things on your to-do list. Get clean, get a new manager, go hit a national anthem out of the ballpark.
I like it.
If I ever show up to the pregame show or something in that condition, just pull the plug on me, please. I'm trusting you to do that.
Do you think that's what the people want? You know,
No, that is definitely not what the people want.
I I would do that for you. I would sacrifice the content to take care of you, buddy. Don't worry.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you.
Or at this point in time, as I sit on July 17th, 2024, that's my official stance. Now, if you show up guns blazing to a pregame show, first of all, that'd be very, very surprising. I may let you go just for the first segment and then say, "Hey, Ted, we gotta." Yeah, I don't think you
I
should
don't.
be
I'm
doing
going to have
this.
to be careful. Those. I mean, that's the good thing about those 11 a.m. kicks, right? There's no chance of that. But that afternoon kick, evening kick, you got a lot of free time on your hand throughout the day. Got to be smart. Buddy system.
Buddy system. Let's get to my winner and loser. But first,
Three things matter in banking: service, service, and service. First Fidelity Bank's commitment to exceptional service is more than a promise, it's their foundation. FFB has been by your side for over a century, and they're honored to be a part of your journey. Banking isn't about where you've been, it's about where you're headed. Open an account at an award winning bank today at ffb.com. At First Fidelity Bank, we go where you go.
and head to opolisclothing.com for our podcast merchandise and the best OU gear out there. That's OPOLIS clothing.com and use promo code TED, TED for 10% off. That's opolisclothing.com and use promo code TED for 10% off. Buttery soft and 10% off. My winner of the week, Nick Saban. I thought he was really solid on the SEC Media Days coverage.
Yeah.
I wondered, and I'm not surprised, but I kind of wondered how difficult is it for him to just not glow about Bama all the time and be more critical of the other programs? How is he going to make his calm demeanor like work on the air? And I thought it just worked, man. I really found myself interested in everything he had to say. Now, he learned a valuable lesson on day one. Got to have your credential, Nick. They're not letting you in without it, even when you're the most famous college football coach of all time. But which that story is absolutely hilarious. But Ted, I thought that I thought he was really good, and it made me excited for whatever role he's going to have during the season. You know what he's going to do on game day for him. I think he's going to end up being great. I'm not shocked or anything like that, but I thought it was really solid stuff from Nick Saban.
Yeah, and I think he'll get better too. You know, the old system just reboots, and whenever he walks into SEC Media Day, he's probably used to going into like coach mode to a certain degree. You know what I'm saying? And the more he does it, the more times he's there, and I think he'll probably continue to let the guard down to a certain degree, and kind of get out of Coach Saban mode and into Nick Saban mode whenever he's doing that stuff. And I'm with you. I think he's obviously has all the right connections, talks to the right people, knows football better than anyone, can speak, especially covering the SEC right now. Knows these coaches, knows a lot of these players, has either coached against or recruited pretty much all the top dogs in this conference. So he's got a perfect perspective.
I'm not sure if it's probably a little bit of both. I think he made people in Austin mad and also made people in Austin happy because Nick Saban picked Texas and Georgia to play in the SEC championship game. And I'm sure that hurt some Bama fans deep. I'm sure that cut deep. But then on the other side, for Texas people, that quote, like the look on his face when he said, "What kind of tickles me is all these people asking these questions about how Texas always ran the conference they were in. They're not going to run the SEC." The look on his face. Now, he did add, there's a whole lot of arrogant people in a lot of places in the SEC, so you can forget about all that. So I think he was referring to, I think, the politics of the conference and kind of
I
how
hope so. If not, I take back all I said about him knowing the game better than anyone.
I just, I, I'm interested in how Texas fans interpreted those two things as a combination. Like, hey, he thinks we're going to play in the SEC championship. Oh my gosh, he said we're not going to run the SEC. Like, I assume that was a bit confusing for Longhorns fans, but that quote in particular did not sit well with a lot of OU people.
Yeah. Well, I you know, just thinking about that, his pick for Texas and Georgia to play in the SEC championship game. It's interesting to me, like how he arrived at that, and it just made me remember that they still haven't picked a tiebreaker.
Huh.
That's what one of the things that Sankey talked about. They have to
I,
settle on it before the season starts, but they still haven't picked how they're gonna like exactly lay out the championship game, how you get into it.
that seems problematic. You would
Yeah.
think with the season starting in what, 6 weeks roughly,
Mm-hmm.
that we'd have that one established.
And I don't know how they do it. I'm sure I don't know if everyone, like all the athletic directors sign off on it. If you have like a competition committee that picks it and everyone is just kind of on board with that. I don't know how that works, but yeah, the clock's ticking, and I hate whenever this stuff like this happens because it's when it lets a lot of unnecessary feelings and conversation about it. Like the longer it goes, the more you feel like they're trying to tailor fit it to some scenario that they kind of see unfolding. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I Do you think they're just going to do what the Big 12 did? Because remember, they've never had to cross this bridge because they've had divisions.
Right.
Remember the Big 12. Now, clearly, if two teams are tied with the best record, those two teams play for the championship. But the second tiebreaker was win percentage against the next highest placed common opponent in the standings. The third was win percentage against all common conference opponents.
Mm-hmm.
So
I imagine they're going to do something similar to that. There's a couple of different ways you could do it. Head to head, common opponent, all of those things are the best. And then I think even at some point, wasn't it like if you went down another level, was it like where they were ranked, like college football playoff ranking?
there was I used to have this memorized for the Big 12 because we would talk about it on our
It
radio
was
show
it was a talking point last year.
yeah, it was the third one was win percentage against all common conference opponents. The fourth one was combined win percentage in conference games of conference opponents. So like I think they basically phrase it as strength of conference of your conference schedule.
Oh,
So
I
it
see. Like
is
what the record of the teams you played did,
yeah, and then
or
you
teams
got
you beat.
into the next one was like total number of wins in the season. The next one was the ranking of like some random analytics thing. And then, because there were seven, I believe, when you were just talking about a two-team tie. And then I believe the seventh tiebreaker was a coin toss.
Yeah. Here's how, if it's not this way, it will be this way soon. Um, Head to head, record against common opponents, and then TV ratings. How many people watched you play football this year?
That,
And whoever has the higher score, sorry about you. You're, if people watch, you're going into the championship game.
yeah, when you're talking about a multiple team tie, different set of tiebreakers, but it's head to head. And then I think the most natural one is record against the next highest place opponent in the standings.
Mm-hmm.
I I think that's probably how it'll be. How they haven't decided on this yet is kind of crazy.
What was the what was the difference last year? Because there was a way that Oklahoma, even though they had lost to Oklahoma State, had a chance to get in. I don't remember what it was, but was it that they didn't include head to head in there or something? Or was it, it was some weird scenario. It's not worth getting it back into, but
I've
it was
erased
just
it
kind
from
of
my
fun.
memory. I've
Yeah.
erased that
Okay.
bedlam from my memory.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. I look forward to seeing what the tiebreakers are.
Agree.
My loser of the week, Bronny James. Mm. Now he did win. I guess he did win some Call of Duty tournament. So guy must be really good at video
Hey,
games. Won like yeah
okay.
at Summer League. I guess won 10 grand with it. Good for him.
Dang. Nice.
That's awesome. But
Telling.
things have not gone particularly well for him in his four Summer League games with the Lakers. That when they drafted him, there was this narrative clearly they only drafted him because his dad is LeBron James. The Lakers came out and basically defended the pick and said, no, we think he's a good player. He's a developmental player. Okay. He is shooting 22% from the field in his four Summer League games. He is 0 of 15 from three. So you've got that. Things are not going particularly well on the court for Bronny James. And then the situation kind of got gasoline dumped on it with the Jaylen Brown clip, which I find it very, very interesting that they caught him saying what he said at the exact right time. If you haven't seen it, he's talking to Kaiser Gondrzik and Angel Reese. And if you can read lips, he says, I don't think Bronny is a pro.
That is the nicest way ever of saying like what everyone is looking at, right? It could have been much worse. The clip could have been,
And
right?
and Jaylen Brown addressed it on Twitter. He was like, "Hey, having your son playing alongside you in the league is a flex." I mean, he didn't
But that's it.
deny. He didn't deny saying what he said because you clearly could see what he said. But yeah, it just Bronny James is already getting a ridiculous amount of attention that he, let's be real, does not deserve with the basketball level of basketball player he is. But man, this is just, I mean, I feel like everything so far has just confirmed every thought that everyone had about the situation. And I, it's strange. I feel, I kind of feel bad for him.
I feel bad for him. I
He
feel
shouldn't
horrible
be, he
for him.
should still be in college.
No, he is where he is only because his dad wants to do what Jaylen Brown said. It's a flex to play with your son. That's all it is. It's the only reason he is where he is because LeBron James wants to check some imaginary box about playing with his son, and it says something about his legacy. He doesn't care about his son. He's going to drag him through all of this and have everyone, making fun of him and saying horrible things about him just so LeBron can check a box. It is the most narcissistic, horrible thing that you could do to your kid. I mean, you could do worse things. I'm just saying that it's only for LeBron. That's it. It is only for him.
I I thought it would have been great for him to just stay in college for another year. Even if it wasn't at USC, go somewhere else and just get better. But I
Yep.
saw, JJ Redick, who I have an incredible amount of respect for when it comes to his basketball opinion. I saw him doing an interview where he said he thinks Bronny can be a game changing on ball defender eventually. He said he's a developmental player. But then he mentioned like watching Lou Dort for Team Canada and how he affects the game with his on ball pressure and what he's able to do as a defender. And he said he believes Bronny could be that eventually. And I was just sitting there going,
Did you reach through the TV screen and strangle him for saying that? That's
I
absurd.
I just sat there and kind of shook my head and went, so this is we're doing this. We're doing this. Like this is like you
Let me
could just
go
say, hey,
out.
it's LeBron James's kid. He wanted him on the team. Here we go. My hottest take is that Bronny James is playing the wrong sport. That's a football player if I've ever seen one. That's a safety if I've ever seen one, man. The way that he moves, his build, you get him in a football strength and conditioning program, dude would be muscled up, would look good. Like I think he's got some toughness to him. Guy can't shoot. It's hard to play basketball for a living when you can't shoot.
Now, the one good thing about this whole situation for me is uh it led me to, have you seen Awful Coaching on YouTube?
Yes.
It led me to that page somehow, and his breakdown of Bronny James, and it was so funny because it's almost like being back in a meeting room. That guy was pretty funny. And then I obviously watched about 10 clips after that, so pretty good.
Maybe it'll get better. I don't know, but
Well, okay,
it's playing
watching.
out like the biggest critic, the biggest cynic when this happened, like it's playing out exactly how that person thought it would, where it's just obvious he's not an NBA player. He had no business being drafted. And I don't know.
Well, one of the problems with it is he doesn't even play in those games in the summer league, like a second round pick that's trying like hell to make the roster. Lazy, jogging, not getting back. Like if he's going to be an elite defender, like he needs to, like, it looks like he's not even focusing on that. He's focusing on hoisting threes.
it would it would behoove him to start start finding the lane that if he is going to make it, like the lane he's going to live in. So we'll see, man. But to me, it's a guy in a situation that he shouldn't be in, that he was kind of pressured
Thanks,
to
Dad.
be in, that he was told, hey, you're doing this. And I don't know. I don't love it, man. It just feels off
No,
to me.
he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to be made fun of by everyone. And like the worst thing you can have is to be told that you don't belong somewhere, and you're only there by special treatment, right?
Oh, people tell me that about my wife all the time. It's fine. It's you get used to it.
Well, and I'm sure he is, with LeBron James being his dad and throwing him to the wolves. But I don't know. I hope he gets better. It's not like I'm rooting for the guy to do bad. I am just mad at the situation because of LeBron. That's what angers me. And
I
there's very few spots in the NBA he is in and someone else is out, right?
yeah,
Someone else has had the same dream.
that I think that's the thing that bothers me the most. And here's why. And I think that's why Bronny James is going to be resented by a lot of guys around the league. And I think that's why people are absolutely going at him in Summer League. Professional sports in the United States of America is supposed to be the ultimate meritocracy.
That's right.
It is supposed to be like, hey, if you're good enough, you're in. If you are not, you are out. And he may be the one guy in the league that is in when he should be out. And that is not a place you want to be. That's what makes sports the best for me. Not to go too, get too deep about all this, but that is why I've always loved sports. You get in between the lines. It doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter how you grew up. None of that shit matters. It's about what you do in between the lines. And that is how you are measured. And I think that the fact that what he is doing in between the lines is clearly not, he's not an NBA player, but he's going to be in the NBA. And I think that creates a ton of resentment around the league. Because Ted, you're right. Everyone's going to look at him and go, you do not belong here. And I just don't, I don't think he should be in that situation.
Well, think if you're JJ Redick, like you're like one of your first things that you've got to do as a head coach is um I don't know like how involved he was with the draft process, but here we are in summer league and he's got to walk out there and try and put lipstick on a pig and instantly lose credibility with everyone by comparing him to Lou Dort. But he really doesn't have a choice. And everyone knows that, and everyone knows that he's backed into a corner. But how emasculating as a head coach is that? Go tell everyone what they see with their eyes is not true. And whenever he knows damn well it's not also.
I think the only thing distracting people from Bronny James is what Alex Sarr did the other night. Did you see that second pick
No.
of the draft? He was 0 of 15 in the game. 0 of
Okay.
7 from 3, 0 points.
Okay.
It appears the Wizards have nailed another draft pick.
Okay. Ouch.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. 0 of 15 for the field, 0 of 7 from 3, 0 points for the second pick of the draft.
Hit
Could
the
have had
gym.
Reed Shepard, Washington, and you chose Alex Sarr instead. Poor Wizards fans, man. Just ouch.